so that if you decide after this is done that you would like a copy of it, you just let me know and I will email you a link to it. So we're going to be doing a demonstration of the software. There's a couple of things I want you to be aware of. First, I'm going to be trying to get a lot of information in a very short period of time. I do ask that you interrupt me with any questions that you might have, because it's more important that your questions get answered than that I go through a traditional demo. So that's number one. Number two, can I ask, what type of business are you?
Spa, massage spa.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want you to be aware that the software has everything that you would expect in a spa management software, like appointment book, point of sale, inventory control, client database, marketing, commissions, reporting, etc. It also has a couple of items to make it unique. So we're going to start with the aspects. We will head over to the basics. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Darcy. Darcy is the daily automated reminder and client information system, and she has 5 main jobs. Now, she does other things as well, but there are 5 main jobs. The first of those 5 are the email reminders and confirmations, and those can go out via email or text, or if you're using the app, you can also do it through push notification. But with an email, you get to write whatever you want using what are called variables. These variables will make it unique so that everybody gets their own unique message. So this is what I wrote, but you get to write whatever you want. This might say something like reminder for Billy. Hi, Billy, remember that you have an appointment for a, let's say European facial with Sally on January 20th at 11 a.m. Please arrive 15 minutes early sometime before the treatment. Now that's what I wrote. After writing this, I choose the number of reminders that I want to go out, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I chose 2. And when they're going to go out prior to my customer's appointment. I said it's going to go out 2 days before, and if they don't confirm, it'll send out the next one. If they do confirm, it won't bother. When this goes out, it has your logo on it, it has your social networking icons on it, it also has a large button that says, click here to confirm your appointment. If they press that button, it will mark the appointment confirmed right on the appointment book with a date and timestamp on it and the fact that it was done by the customer through Darcy. You can do the same thing with text. The difference here is that there's no artwork. So no logo, no social networking icons, and no big button. So you're going to include a line that says reply Y to confirm. Then it does exactly the same thing. So if the customer receives this text, reminder to Joe, your appointment with Sally is on January 20th at 11 a.m., reply Y to confirm. If Joe in fact sends Y, it will do the same thing. It will mark it confirmed right on the appointment book, date and timestamp showing that the customer confirmed it through Darcy. And again, everything else down here remains the same. So that's one of the things that Darcy can do. Another thing that Darcy can do are what are known as automated marketing campaigns. Now, with the automated marketing campaigns, there are over 20 of them to choose from. And most of the major holidays that you can think of that might apply to the beauty industry would be in things like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, back to school, birthday, New Year's, things like that. Now, let's say that I wanted to do birthdays. First, in my client files, I should be storing the customer's date of birth. If so, this is going to work very nicely for me. Again, I get to choose the number of campaigns. This time I'm going to choose 4. Then I get to choose when the messages go out before my customer's birthday. So I'm going to say my first message is going to go out 30 days before. My second message is going to go out 14 days before. My third message 7 days before, and then my fourth message on their birthday. When I put in what they're going to do, when they're going to go out, then I get to say what goes out. So for instance, my first message is going out 30 days before. I get to write whatever I want in my subject and my body. And while I'm writing my body, I can change the font size, I can bold words, underline words, italicize words, even change the colors of words, and insert hyperlinks. So I've got a message here that I want. Happy birthday, Joe. It looks like you'll be celebrating your special day in about a month. Be sure to come before, and then your birthday would be there if it was 30 days away. Then I choose my artwork. There are 8 different pieces of artwork to choose from that are already created for you. And if you look at all 8 of them and you decide you don't like any of them, you can upload your own custom artwork. And our graphic arts department is at your service, free of charge during regular business hours. So you never pay to have our technical support department, or excuse me, our graphics department, help you create your artwork if you can't create it on your own. If you can't, feel free. They can send you the specs, but if you can't, they'll actually work with you to make the artwork that you want so that it'll look the way you want it to look. So you've written your message, you've chosen your artwork, you save your template, and you can forget about it. From that point forward, Darcy's going to be running 365 days a year, and every time she gets to a point where she is exactly 30 days away from somebody's birthday, they're going to get this message. After we've set up the first message, we can set up the second message. Same thing. Everything applies. The only difference is your message can be different, and your artwork can be different. Everything else remains the same. You do that for all four, and then you activate it and save it, and then you get to forget about it. Because Darcy's going to run 65. Check your customer's dates of birth against when you say that you're supposed to get these messages, and send them out when they're supposed to get them. Now,
So
go ahead.
Say that the first message goes out and the customer then goes out online and books their appointment. Will it stop sending this message to them?
With an appointment confirmation, it won't send out if they've already confirmed their appointment. However, with these, they will continue to get the messages. It doesn't stop just because they booked an appointment, because this is marketing. It's not so much asking for an appointment necessarily as it may be, giving them a coupon, or it could be anything you want. So again, you can choose one if you want to just send one out, or two, or in my case, four. But no, if they book an appointment between this one and this one, it'll still send this message out.
Okay.
Now, most of these, almost all of them, go out before the day. So if I chose Valentine's Day, and I say 3 messages, then these messages are going to go out before Valentine's Day. However, there are 3 different ones that go out after the date. Almost all of them, there's over 20 of them, almost all of them go out before the date. But there are 3 that go out after. One of them is follow-up. What is the date? It goes out after the date of your customer's last transaction. So if I said I just want one campaign to run 1 day from the date of their last transaction, that means that this message is going to go out to everybody who visited me yesterday, as long as they allow you to send them home. Thank you, Billy. Billy, thanks so much for visiting us yesterday. We hope everything went great for you and look forward to seeing you again. Again, you write whatever you want. And don't forget, because you can insert hyperlinks, you can even ask them to write a review on you and have a link right to your review page if you want. You can do things like that as well. We also have another one that goes out after the date, and that's lost clients. This one doesn't go from 0 to 30 days, though. This one goes from 30 to 360 days. So in other words, if somebody came into your business and got a service or bought a product from you, and 90 full days have gone by and they have not returned, then they might get a message that looks something like this. I miss you, Joe. Joe, it's been a long time since we've seen you. Let us know the community, blah, 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 and your artwork. Now, if the customer, this one's a little bit different. If you said, hey, we miss you because they haven't been back in 90 days, if they book an appointment because they got that message, it won't send out the next one. It'll restart the clock. And the important thing to note here is that even if they have missed 3 months, if they have a future appointment booked with you, it won't send out the messages. Okay? All right. Next, we have set up notifications. This is kind of like an assistant manager. Whatever you check here, Darcy is going to be doing for you. Now, most of these are suspicious activities. So if I put a check next to this one when a cash payment is voided, if one of my staff members voids a cash payment, then you will be instantly notified. The boss will get an email letting them know, on this day, on this time, on this transaction number, this cash payment was voided by the cashier. And if you're using password protection, it will even tell you who did it, the name of the person who did it. I checked this one as well when a price is modified at the point of sale, or when rewards points are adjusted, or when a transaction is modified. If any of those things are done by your staff, you will be instantly notified. This one here, when a client file is printed, one of our customers contacted us to let us know that at 2 o'clock in the morning, she got an email from Darcy letting her know that one of her staff members had just printed out a list of her customers' names and telephone numbers. Now, of course, everything in the software can be password protected, so she could have protected against that, but it was nice for her to get that information. She was able to do her investigation and find out which one of her staff did it. Also, some of these are not suspicious activities, like this one here, email tomorrow's schedule to operator. Every night, Darcy will email your staff their schedule for the following day. Or email closing report to the boss. Every night, Darcy will say, hey boss, here are tonight's closing numbers after the office is closed. So, those are notifications. Whichever ones you check, those are the ones that Darcy will be keeping an eye on. The last two are the come again and the buy again. The come again works with services, and it allows you to set up a time frame on services. So let's say, for instance, that we do physical therapy massage. And let's say that if somebody gets a physical therapy massage, that they should be repeating it every week. So I can go to Darcy and set this for 3 weeks. That means if they came in and got a physical therapy massage and 3 whole weeks have gone by and they have not come back to get it again, they might get this message. Now, if they do have a future appointment book for that service or any service within that group, it will reset the clock so that you don't look foolish and they won't get the email. The other one is buy again. The buy again works very similarly to the come again, but it works on products. Every product has this buy again button with the ability to choose from 1 to 52 weeks. So now, if I have a product like my Justin All-in-One shampoo, I can write a message like, hey, your Justin All-in-One shampoo is running low. So if I know that this should run out in about 3 weeks, I might set it for 5 weeks. So if a customer came in and bought this product and 5 whole weeks have gone by and they have not returned to buy it again, they might get this message, again, if they allow you to send them promos. According to the consultants that helped us develop this results in about an 8% increase in retail sales. If they buy something within the same category, though, it will reset the clock. So again, you don't look foolish. If they maybe came in a few weeks later and bought a larger bottle of the same thing, don't want a week after that for them to tell you that, for your software to tell them that their other one is running low. Okay, so go ahead.
Is that only for retail sales, or could you use that for, because we're going to supply the lotions and oils for our spa to our therapists? So would that be also?
You have the ability, of course, to sell professional products, wholesale, things like that. However, as far as Darcy is concerned, that is just for retail. That's for when your customers come in and buy a particular product, and they don't come back in to rebuy that product within a certain amount of time. That's got nothing to do with what you're doing in-house.
Okay.
All right, so that's Darcy for the most part. There are other things that she does, but for the most part, that covers the 5 main jobs she does. The next thing we're going to talk about is the online store. The online store allows you to create web pages right through your software that you can then turn into buttons on your website that allow your customers to make purchases of products online, or purchase gift certificates online, or even book themselves their own appointment right through your website. If you're using the app, then those things can be done right through the app as well. But your customers are going to be able to book their own appointments, purchase gift certificates, or purchase products right through your website if you want them to. You don't have to set those up. Or maybe you just set up one of them. You want to sell gift certificates to your website. Or you want to sell, let them book their own appointments to your website. But you don't want them to do the others, etc. So it's up to you what you actually set up. And you're in control of the way it looks for the most part. You get to put in your own banners. And again, our graphic arts department can give you specs for those, or can actually create them for you. You get to choose your button colors. You get to choose your font colors and exactly what the words are that your customers will be reading as they go through the process. You get to write all of that as well. And of course, you're trained in all of that before you set it up. And we will confirm with it that it's set up correctly and that it works properly before you start marketing it to your customers. All right. So now we're going to talk about some of the basics. For instance, the appointment book. There are 3 different appointment books in the system. There's the day view screen, the month view screen, and the week view screen. We're going to talk about the day view and the week view here. This is the day view screen. It has your staff, and if you have any rooms or equipment, they might be there as well, because you can see up to 31 columns on a single screen. But in my case, I'm looking at about 15 employees right now, and I can choose a particular group, like facials, and then only my facialists will appear, and the rooms that facials can be done in. If I were to choose massage, only my massage therapist and the room and any equipment that may be required will appear as well. So I choose a customer, whoever they may be, like Glenn here, and I choose massage, I choose a service like a Hot Stone 60, and I'm going to book that with Maureen at 11 o'clock. It'll ask me, what room is this being done in? And I'll say maybe the Elixir room. And what equipment is being used? Maybe the Black Stone. So now this appointment has been booked 3 times. The Hot Stone massage with Maureen, in the Elixir room, with the Black Stone, kind of like a game of truth. Now I could also do something like this, where instead of doing 3-tiered booking, I'm going to stay in massage here. I'm going to do a Swedish 60, and I'll book that with Michelle at 12 o'clock. What room? We'll say the Jasmine room this time. That time, no equipment was used. Adriana was booked with Michelle in the Jasmine room. Finally, I'll go to something like nails, and I'll choose another customer here. We'll go with Amy Fabry here, and choose a service like my French manicure, and book that with Leslie at 11 o'clock. That appointment did not require any rooms or equipment, so it's simply booked single. So booking appointments, single-tiered, 2-tiered, or 3-tiered is available to you. Rescheduling appointments is as easy as checking this box. Now I can move this anywhere I want. Move it to 1 o'clock. Move it to 2 o'clock. Move it to 1:30. Move it back to 11 o'clock. Really easy. Now let's talk about that week view. What if Amy says she can't make it today? What other times does Leslie have available? I can go right up to Leslie's name, right-click, and say Go to Week View. That will take me to Leslie's schedule for the next 2 weeks. And check Reschedule, move it to Monday the 22nd, move it to 1 o'clock on the 24th, move it to 10 o'clock on Friday the 20th, or bring it right back to 11 o'clock today, and then go into my current day. So that's rescheduling an appointment. Unbooking an appointment is incredibly simple. We just right-click on it, and we can check Unbook, or Unbook all this day. Unbook means it's going to unbook just that one appointment. Unbook all this day means it will unbook all the appointments that that customer has. So if they have multiple appointments today, I can unbook them all with this. It won't unbook anything else, only the ones that that customer has that you right-clicked on. You can do standard appointments. Go ahead. Back
to your example, the Hot Stone that you booked. You have to click on Unbook all that day so it unbooks the room and the stones, or?
Yeah, absolutely. If, for instance, if I said unbook all this day, that won't unbook the rooms and equipment. I mean, it will, but that's not what it's for. It's for if they have multiple appointments. But for instance, this one here that has Maureen in the Elixir room with the Hot Stones, if I unbooked it, of course it'll unbook all of them. So if I right-click and just say unbook, and yes, they're all gone, because that one appointment included all of them. I don't have to unbook all this day to do that. But if she had that appointment and a facial and nails being done, then it would have unbooked all of them if I said unbook all this day. But if I just said unbook, it would have only unbooked one of them.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. You can also change the order that your people are in on your screen. You can place people on a waiting list and say who they're waiting for, and they'll automatically pop up if you reschedule or unbook a time that they're waiting for. So lots of different things that you can do here. And you can jump right from the appointment book to the point of sale by right-clicking on an appointment like Andrea Grady here for her full facial and selecting Check Out. And it will bring up my point of sale with her information and her ticket already ready to go. If she was upsold while she was here, if I had an appointment booked for that upsell, it would have already filled in when I went to checkout. However, if the upsell wasn't already booked an appointment for, then I can go to service and said she also saw Debbie and got a back facial. So now she saw Kristen for a full facial and Debbie for a back facial, and that's part of my ticket. I can also add product and say that Lachey sold her the Justin All-in-One shampoo, and it puts in my local tax. I can also add gratuities, dollar amounts for individual therapists, or I can apply a percentage and let it do the math for me. Debbie's going to get $9.75 and Christian's going to get $12.75. Then I can go to payment and check them out with cash or check or credit card, gift certificate, series, on account, etc. And at any time I can clear what I've done and start over. Say that again?
Upon the checkout, if they bring in like a promotional card or we want to give them a family discount or something like that, how do we do that as a...
Yeah, so you would create your coupons, whether you're sending them out or maybe you don't even actually make a coupon physically, but you make one in the software. So then what I can do is I can click on any portion of the ticket and I can go to my discounts. And if I have created coupons, they'll be listed for me. So I can go to any one of those, like a manager's comp tier, which is 100%. And the question is, am I only going to discount that one part of the ticket 100%? Or am I going to discount the whole ticket? So if I leave this blue, discount all, then she won't owe me anything. This will all zero out. But if I don't do that, I'm only going to zero out this one. That's because it's 100% manager's comp. But I could go with something like employee discount, and that's 20% that I've created. So it's whatever I get to create those coupons at any time, and they will be listed there for me to choose. Also,
and we can go in, we can do a certain.
Go ahead.
We can go in and we can do a certain dollar off at that point of sale.
Yes, instead of doing a percentage, you could have done a specific dollar off. So I can highlight something, go to discount, and instead of a percentage, I could do it by dollar amount and put in my dollar amount. Also, my coupons can be by dollar amount instead of by by percentage. I can create them either by dollar amount when I make them. So when I actually create a coupon, let's go to sales register here and go to my coupon codes. I get to decide if that coupon is a strict dollar amount or a percentage.
And is that one of the Darcy alerts? If one of our receptionists goes in and gives somebody, just because it's a friend or whatever, a discount, we would be notified or not?
You certainly can be, yes. If a discount was applied at the point of sale, then you can be instantly notified. Now, you can also password protect the ability to apply a coupon or a price modification. So notice this is $25. If I highlight this, I can also just modify the price. Instead of putting in a coupon, I can just change the price. And yes, that's another thing that you can be instantly notified just happened.
Okay.
Also, if you're using password protection on it, it may say you don't have the right to apply this discount, or with their password, it does give them the right to do it, but it will keep track of the fact that they did it. So then if you ever wanted to go back to see who applied that discount, you would actually have their name if you were requiring password protection on that.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot more to the point of sale that we haven't talked about. Selling gift certificates, selling series, using memberships, points, and things like that. But one thing I want you to be aware of is that everybody in here, when you go to a payment method, you can take multiple methods of payment. So she owes you $25, she's going to give you $20 in cash, and then give you $5 on a gift certificate, or $5 on her credit card, or something like that. If she had points, she can earn points like airline miles by buying services from you, or buying product from you, or giving you referrals. She can earn points. She can then use those points to get discounts or freebies from the services or products that she buys.
And does this keep track of gift certificate or gift cards?
Absolutely. On their receipts, it will show them how many points they have. Also, if you pull up a customer that has points, like Michelle Babcock here, it will show you exactly how many points she has. She even has an on-account credit of $152.50. And she owns 3,819 points. If I looked at her client information, I'd be able to see that she's actually earned 19,279 points, but has used 15,460 of them and has a balance of 3,819. So then I could say something like, she saw Christian and got a Brazilian blowout for $365. As a gold member, she gets 5% off automatically, simply because that's what I set up. You can set it up any way you want. So she gets this $18.25 off. She owes me $346.75. If I go to payment and she wants to use her points, she only has 3,819 points, and she needs 7,300 points to get the Brazilian blowout for free. But if I check this, it will let me use her points, so it will reduce the $346.75 that she owes me by $181.40 based on the number of points she's using.
So if we're not using a point system, we're not using a point system.
Point system. Yeah, if you're not, then she's going to pay for it in whatever other methods you do accept.
If we use a gift card method, you said that you could plug in $5 they want to pay, and then the rest of it's cash?
Yeah, so for instance, if they wanted to use a gift certificate, they would have to put a certificate, they would have to give you their certificate, which has a number on it. If they bought it online, it'll even have a barcode on it, so you can scan it or type in the number. I don't know if I have a valid one here. Let me. This certificate is expired. You want to use it anyway? Sure. Oh, there's no balance on file for that one, so they couldn't use it. But it would show the balance. It would show maybe there's $100 on it. So you could use the $100, or you could change the amount tendered to like $5, and it would leave $95 on their gift certificate. So if they paid, they owe me $346.75, and they gave me $200 in cash and accept. So they give me $200 cash. Now they only owe me $146.75, and they give me a check for $100. And that's check number 2345, and accept. They still owe me $46.75, and maybe they have a gift certificate with $50 on it. So you put in the certificate number, it'll show them there's $50 left, and you accept it. That'll zero it out, and it will leave $3.25 on their gift certificate. Or in this case, because I don't have a valid gift certificate, I'm going to accept a credit card for the balance, and accept. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to accept that. Done. If I were to go back into that customer's history, which I don't have to do, but if I were, I'd be able to see on January 18th, they got a Brazilian blowout for Christian and a color on step from, they got a Brazilian blowout from Christian. They also purchased products, and I don't think I have product on it, it was just a Brazilian blowout, but anything that they bought would be listed here. And if I were to highlight any part of that transaction and view it, I'd see everything that happened on it. They got a Brazilian blowout, they earned rewards points, they also paid $200 in cash and $100 on check number 2345 and $46.75 in Visa. So you can accept multiple methods of payment. You can even change who's making the payment. If Michelle and her friend came in together and you checked them out on the same ticket, you could choose which one of them is paying for both tickets. You can do that as well. And she earned additional points by paying that money, by the way. So Ms. Babcock, who used to have 3,879, now has 4,859 points to use.
It doesn't matter the credit card machine that we use?
If you decide that you're going to process through our preferred provider, you would need to get the machine that we provide, chip reader. If you decide not to go with one of our preferred providers, then you can certainly go with whomever you'd like to use. It's just going to look a little different. So I go to payment here, and credit card is my method of payment. If I am using the preferred provider, you'll have a big blue button here, and you'll be able to click that, stick the card into the chip reader or swipe the card, and you'll get your authorization right in the software. If, however, you are not using our preferred provider, and that's fine, it'll simply look like this. You are then going to get your authorization through your separate terminal, but you're still going to keep record of it here. That way your reporting is accurate, even though you're not processing directly through the software. You're still saying it's a credit card charge, you're just doing it a little bit differently.
Gotcha.
All right. So now that we've done things like that, let's talk about reports. Let me go ahead and clear this. I can click here on reports, and I have over 300 different reports to choose from that are already created in the software. However, If for any reason you cannot find the report that you want, then you can even use the data miner to create your own custom report. And of course, you're taught how to do this. Now, let's say it's just a little bit too confusing. You just don't have the time, whatever it is. You can always go to our support, and support will answer within 15 seconds normally. That's our average hold time. Click on live chat, you're going to be talking to somebody within 15 seconds normally, as long as it's during our regular business hours. However, you can always call our 800 number during regular business hours as well. The only difference is with an 800 number call, the average hold time is about 9 minutes, which is actually pretty good considering we've got clients in all 50 United States, Canada, South America, Central America, and we even have a handful in Europe and Asia. So 9 minutes is really not too bad, but if you don't have 9 minutes to wait on hold, or more, God forbid, you can always just go to support and speak to somebody in live chat, and that has an average hold time, as I said, of about 15 seconds. So if you said, hey, I need a report, and I can't find it in the software, you go to support, and you say, this is the information I need. They're either going to be able to tell you exactly where to find it, or they can actually create the custom SQL statement for you and email it to you. You can then copy and paste it in here and give it a name and save it. So that report is always available to you in the future as well. So you don't always have to ask for it. But chances are, all the reports you want are going to be found here for you anyway, because there's so many of them. And they are created based on the fact that our customers have said, I want this, I want that, over the years. So I go to sales, service sales, and then I go to selected operator. Now this report itself is not that important. I can choose an individual employee or go with everybody, which I'm going to do. Now the reason I'm showing you this though, and I'm going to put in some old date here, 0901 of 13 to 1001 of 13, and accept. I want to show you a few things that every report has. First, notice how fast that report came up. Total sales, 843 total sales over the course of a whole month, and it's several years ago. And $58,000.42 was due, but it came up within seconds. That's because of the SQL database. Next, we've got a simple tool, Zoom, that literally allows you to zoom in and out. That's all it does, just like you think. Zoom in and out. Just makes it easy to read without having to print it out, especially if you wear reading glasses. Not that big a deal, but for some people it's important. Then we have email. Click here, type in an email address and hit OK. And guess what? That report just got sent wherever you wanted to send it. To yourself at home, to your HR department, to your accountant, to your manager, whatever. You simply type in the email and hit OK, and that report just got sent to them. If I press export to Excel, with one click of a button, this becomes an Excel spreadsheet. I don't have to export it into a CSV file or a TXT file and then upload it into Excel and then set my delimiters. I don't have to do any of that nonsense. One click of a button, it's an Excel spreadsheet. I can name it and save it. Open another report in Excel. And I can copy columns or rows or numbers from one report to another, allowing me to manipulate my data in ways I've never been able to do before. And of course, I can print the report out. Also, though, within this very report, because I chose all operators, I can now choose a specific operator without having to close this report and recreate it under that operator's name. So I can just choose an operator like Christian and hit recalculate, and now it's his numbers for Christian for that same time period. Or choose Debbie and recalculate, and now it's Debbie's number. And all of these still work. Export to Excel, it becomes an Excel spreadsheet, and now it's for Debbie for that period. I can even change the period from September 1st to October 1st. I'm going to change it from September 1st to September 7th and recalculate. And now it's Debbie's numbers from 9/1 to 9/7. So all of these things are time savers because in most software you have to close the report and then go back in and recreate it with those changes you made, like who I want to see and what the time frame is. Instead, while you're in the report, you can simply make those changes. Very quick and easy. As I said, there are over 300 different reports in the system, but there are other things in reporting. Like, for instance, in graphs, you have the ability to view your social analytics, as long as you have it set up. And your social analytics will allow you to see which posts of yours are working on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. What's working, what's not, and what the demographics of those posts are. And you'll be taught how to read that, of course. Also, you can set goals for your staff and view those goals at any time. Also, you can view what's called the fortune teller. The fortune teller shows you on the top half what your current trends are based on your last 3 months worth of data. And it says if those trends remain the same, then this is what your next year is going to look like. And then on the bottom, the what if scenario, you can make changes to your real numbers to see how that affects your bottom line. So before you invest your time or your effort or your money, you can see what your return on investment should be based on the changes that you make. So lots of different reports in there. The inventory system. The inventory system is as powerful as if you had just bought a retail inventory system and nothing else. It's really powerful. It used to be a standalone inventory system. So not only are you able to track every product you have in here, as well as all the activity on that product, purchase orders, sales you've made, merchandise returns, manual adjustments, but also at any time, you can create your purchase orders. And when you accept a PO, it will automatically update your quantities. When you create a PO, it will even allow you to create barcodes for those products that don't have them. And you can do that manually as well. So if you use a barcode scanner and a product doesn't have a barcode on it, you can create your own barcode and put it on that product using a simple Avery label, so that all of your products will have barcodes on them so that you can go forward with your barcode scanner. And if you don't, you can look a product by SKU, by UPC, by manufacturer, or easiest, you can just look up a product by name as well. Do you have any questions for me on anything I've shown you today?
No, but can you quickly show us the payroll?
Absolutely. So if I go in here to payroll, the first thing I need to do, if I'm actually going to do payroll, I don't have to do payroll through the system. I can use the payroll just for commissions and things like that. But if I'm actually going to use payroll, then I'm going to go through these processes here to set it up. And I'll be doing these at the beginning of every year, including getting my state's tax tables and uploading them. Once that's done, I'm also able to set up my employees. I can add them brand new, or let's pull up somebody that I've already created, put their information in, set tax calculations. Now, I don't have to do that. What I do have to do, though, more than likely, in most places, is set up commissions. So I'll go to employees here, and go to my commission schedule. One of the types of commissions I can set up is sliding scale. So I can have up to 6 different scales. So I can say for Christian here, from $0 to $1,499, he gets 50% on services. But from $1,499 and a penny to $2,000, he gets 55%. From $2,000 and a penny to $2,500, he gets 60%. I can set up 6 different scales, or not, however many I did 5. I can do the same thing for retail. Set up to 6 different scales for retail. Also, though, I have the ability to set up standard percentages. So I can choose someone like Abigail and say for every service she gets whatever. So I can say 25%, 50%, 60% for every service. Or I can do it individually and say on this service she gets this percent, and on this service she gets that percent. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And does this create direct deposit files and print checks or not?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Does it create direct deposit files for us to send to the bank?
No, it's not going to create a direct deposit file.
Okay, does it
So now I go
checks?
to employees, and I go to commission rates, and I can also do a third method of commission, which is service dollar amounts. So then I can choose a specific person, like Angel here, and go with an anti-curl, and that's $170. So maybe I put in $85. So this is a dollar amount commission. Now you might say, well, that's the same as 50%. Well, that's true, but if you raise your price, Angel still gets $85. She doesn't get an automatic raise just because you raised your prices. So that's the benefit of dollar amount commission. It's up to you. You can set up all 3 of those different types of commission structures. And then depending on what reports you run, that will show you that information. So I can go to sales, operator reports, commission reports. So if I go to commission sales analysis or combined commission report or net commission on services or on service sales, these are all percentages. But if I go to like sliding scale with back bar, daily sliding scale, high scale, with or without back bar, etc., those are going to be the sliding scale reports. I can do dollar amount reports as well. So depending on what type of commission you set up, that's going to determine what report you run. And it'll give you all of that necessary information. Now, also in payroll, if you decide, no, I actually want to do this to actually create my check, then after you set everything up, you run your reports and you go to payroll and you go to make payroll. And when you go to make payroll, you put in your start date, your stop date, and your payroll type, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, or monthly, and it'll bring up your employees' payroll then, and you plug in their numbers that you get right from the software. Then you can go in and process payroll. And you can either have it give you the information so you can write it down, that's manual checks, or you could stick in checks into your printer that you got from your bank and print out your payroll checks right on the checks that were provided to you from the bank. A line check simply allows you to do just that, align them so that you can print out on the computer checks that your bank gave you and know that everything lines up properly. Okay? You can also control the time clock. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said that every year you have to go out and upload the tax tables. Do you guys provide the tax tables from the federal and state?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But it's every January, and it's not until the federal we can do immediately. But the states come out with their new tax tables every January, and they put them out on their websites. We can't give it to you until the state has created it and put it up. Sometimes a pay period ends, let's say, like on January 2nd. And so your employees are expecting a check on January 2nd. However, the state won't necessarily release it until January 6th or January 12th. We've seen it as late as January 20th. So you might have a couple of pay periods where the state has not yet released their new tax table. If that's the case, then you can use last year's tax table for that one time. Chances are it's going to be pretty close to what the taxes are for the new year. But you do have to use the old tax table from the previous year if you have crossed over January and the state has not yet released it. Once they release it, we can create it. However, you don't just get it automatically. Most of our customers use the payroll system for their commissions and reporting. However, the actual creation of the payroll they do with third-party companies like Paychecks or ADP or something like that. Or they use QuickBooks or something like that, or they even have an in-house accountant that does all of their payroll, and so they just generate the reports. For that reason, you have to request the tax tables. Now, we'll give them to you for free, but you have to request them. We don't just make them for all 50 states and start emailing them out. What you need to do is contact us and say, hey, I need the tax table for Tennessee, I need the tax table for Michigan, I need whatever it is. We then generate it. If it has not already been generated, we generate it and send it to you. If it's already been generated, we just send it to you, along with instructions on how to get it into your software.
And one more quick question about payroll. No W-2 or 941 reporting or anything like that. Is that correct?
I apologize. Could you repeat that question?
I'm assuming there's no W-2 processing or printing or quarterly.
No, there's no W-2. No, and it's not going to generate W-4s for you either.
Okay.
Yeah. It won't generate a 1099 either. So those are all, again, it's a pretty basic payroll system. Most commonly used for its reporting and commission. But if you just got to print out your reports, your paychecks through it, you can. You need to make sure that your payroll processing is simple enough, basic enough, I guess is the best way to put it, for the system to work properly for you. I wouldn't want to oversell what it does.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Do you have any questions at all on anything I've shown you, or do you have questions on something that you were hoping I would show you that I didn't, or maybe something that you just need to make sure the software does that I haven't actually shown you yet?
No, I don't, Joe. No, I think we're good.
All right.
All right. Well, I want you to know that I have recorded this, and if you would like, I can email you this to watch again at your convenience at any time. We just turned it into a link on YouTube and email you the link, and then you can just watch it at any time you want. If you have questions, or if you want, hey, this was something that he showed me and I forgot, whatever it may be. Would you like me to send you this as an email?
Email is fine.
Yes, please.
Yes? Okay. All right. So the email I have for you, that's Billy Meyer, MEYER,
Yeah, it is.
@gmail.com. That's correct?
Yes.
That's where we'll send it. And you should probably have that within the hour. And if you have any other questions at all, I'll answer them now. And if not, then our demo is done for the day, and you can expect an email from me shortly.
Only question I have is what is the setup fee and what are the monthly fees?
Okay, all of that information is going to be done through your salesperson, who is Maureen Long. Her direct extension is 128 if you call our 800 number, which is 800-710-3879. And then again, her extension is 128. Her email address is Maureen, MAUREEN, @ProSolutionsSoftware.com. But I will let her know that you're interested in that information. I will get her in contact with you. She's got to ask some questions of you, because the pricing is varied based on the number of staff members you're actually tracking in the system, as well as the number of computers that will be using the software simultaneously. So she'll gather some information from you. She will then send you a written proposal. And if you like it, you can accept the terms right through the email. If you want to make changes, you just let her know, and you guys can discuss it. I can tell you that as the head of the sales department, she does have authority to make adjustments. So I just want you to be aware of that.
And one more quick question, sorry. How long does it usually take to implement this?
Okay, to actually get the software is usually within 24 hours. So you decide you want to purchase it, and if you're using the cloud, usually within 24 hours you have your login credentials. However, what we want to do is make sure that the software is set up properly. So what we ask is that after you make the purchase, you send us all of your data so that we can get your inventory in for you. We can get your clients in for you. We can get your groups and services in and all of that sort of thing. We'll tell you what we need. Now, we'll teach you how to do it yourself, of course, but we can do it for you. And then once your data is in, we then want to train you how to properly book appointments, how to process sales, things like that. So from day one, which is purchase, if you expect to use the software on day 3, I would say you're crazy. You buy it on day 1, and if you expect to use it to actually run your business, we say expect to be running it to use your business on day 30. So buy it, you then expect to be using it on day 30, because then all of your data's in, you've been trained, you've been playing with it before you actually start processing and running your business on it. That's what we recommend. I've seen people do it in less than a week, but normally between day 1 to day 30 is when the purchase and the usage.
So we are brand new, SPA. We're not even quite open. So we don't have clients yet to start tracking or anything like that.
Okay, so that's not a problem. Some of the training, of course, will be how to enter clients, things like that as they come in. But still, if you've got a suite of services and their prices and how long they take, if you have rooms that those services are performed in, the names of those rooms and how many they are, if you have staff members, their first and last names, their email address, their telephone numbers, also what their hours are and what groups they perform in, what services they do, things like that. If you want to provide us with all of that, we will get it into the system for you. If not, we can simply teach you how to get it into the system yourself. It's up to you.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, then I will let Maureen know that she should be in touch with you to get a proposal out to you. And Billy, I want to thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to finding out from Maureen that you guys have been in touch. And I'll be emailing you a copy of this demo.
Thank you.
Billy, Joe, have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.